YouTube, what's up? Back again for another daily fishing video here on Andrew Upshaw Fishing. Just got off the water. I've only got like a half a day of practice left. Practice is going pretty good. I hope y'all enjoy the practice video. I don't know if I'm even going to drop a practice video, but if I do, I hope y'all do like it. You know, fishing here on the James River is so different. It's a tidal fishery, so it's just one of those places that you read about, you hear about, but until you experience it, you have no idea. It's just so crazy. You have 2-hour windows just kind of in between high and low tide, and you have to figure out how to catch those bass in a very short amount of time. Makes it real difficult. But today, I'm going to talk to you about one of my favorite things to do, especially during the post-spawn, and that's what this tip's about. Post-spawn Carolina rigs and what baits you need to have the next time you're on the water. Hey, real quick though, if you haven't yet, drop down that bottom right-hand corner, hit that sub button, and maybe drop a comment below. What is your favorite Carolina rig bait? I don't care what time of year. Just drop it down below. I'd love to see what it is, because like I told y'all before, I tried just about everything y'all drop below. So if you do have that special bait in a special color, make sure you let me know what it is. Alright guys, I hope y'all enjoy this video. Alright guys, so right now is probably one of the very best times to be on the water fishing for bass, especially after the spawn. You know, it can be tough in certain sections of the world. You know, it depends on where you're at. If you're on a Tennessee River lake, those fish are going to start easing out to the ledges. You go on a lake like Rayburn, they're going to start moving out, although the water's super high there right now. But it's still being one offshore for the most part. So guys, the post-spawn is probably one of the very best times to throw a Carolina rig. It's definitely one of my favorite times. And I have 4 baits that I have tied on my Carolina rig this time of year, and I'll actually kind of break them down on where you're going to fish them. So right now on Sam Rayburn, one of the top baits to have on a Carolina rig is a caffeine shad or a super fluke. Those 2 baits, bar none, are one of the very best you can have. It's something about that real subtle action of that fluke or that caffeine shad as it's darting through the water. Real natural action. The color you want to throw on that like is watermelon red. They're going to be eating bluegill. You want to dye the tail a little bit. It's chartreuse. So that's the first bait. It's caffeine shad. No questions asked. One of the best this time of year. Actually, a buddy of mine won the Big Bass Splash on Sam Rayburn fishing that exact bait. So, I mean, I definitely know it works. So another one of my favorite baits in the post-spawn on a Carolina rig is a straight tail finesse worm. So whether it's a Zoom trick worm, the Strike King straight tail 6.5 inch finesse worm, or even the bull worm, which is the Magnum style straight worm. So one thing that you're going to know, this time of year, I want the most minimal action I can have on my Carolina rig. I don't want a bait that has a lot of action, a lot of tail action. The more subtle, the better. So those fish are really pressured. They don't want to chase down a big meal. They want something simple and easy. And from my years of fishing on Toledo Bend and some of these places, when those fish get real finicky like that, you want something that's super minimal. So that straight tail finesse worm works wonders, especially on a Carolina rig. It looks kind of silly the way you rig it up. You can throw a 5-inch worm sometimes, that fat worm. It definitely will get you a lot of bites and some really big ones. You know, those big females, when they get set up on those offshore places, especially early on, they don't want something that's just going to be real loud and in their face. But that straight tail worm definitely gets the call on my boat in all of those situations. My third favorite bait would be a super fry. It's a fry type bait, like a French fry, a ring fry, something like that. I typically throw it in a couple different colors depending on watercolor. So if I'm having a little bit dingier water, I'll go to June bug. Clear water, I'll go to maybe like a watermelon red or a green pumpkin. And in certain situations, the chartreuse pepper is absolutely the one I turn to. But that super fry or a ring fry will absolutely get you big bites this time of year. It's really subtle. It's really small. It's more of a finesse situation where maybe I had a cold front roll through, or maybe they just pulled out, or I'm on a school of fish that are really pressured. That's when I'm going to go to the ring fry. It's going to get you a lot of bites, and that's what it's all about in the post-spawn. It's just getting the bites. It's not always about just, you know, trying to fish for 5. You know, I'm not going up there flipping and just trying to get 5 bites. It's about numbers, because the deal in the post-spawn is is that you might catch a 2-pounder, 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 and then a 7-pounder or an 8-pounder. And you have to get those bites to be able to land them. So the more bites you get in the post spawn, the better off you're going to be. I promise you that. You know, my last favorite bait, and I'm going to keep it real simple, is an Ocho. A 5-inch Ocho is that. It's a little bit bigger. So as you can tell, if you look at the line of baits that I've talked about a caffeine shad. I've talked about a straight tail finesse worm. I've talked about the Magnum style finesse worm. But I've also talked about the Ocho, which is like a Cinco style bait. These are all straight tail worms. In certain situations, you kind of have to switch them up, and you're going to get different types of bites depending on where you're at. But there's always one that's going to outperform the other. So that's why I always recommend the 4, because the deal is when you get out there and those fish get real weird, the more you change it up, the more you try, you're going to find out which one is the best. If you follow a really simple rule of thumb when you come to colors, watermelon red, green pumpkin, June bug, if you follow those 3 lines of colors, you're always going to be right. One of those 3 is going to work in the post spawn. I mean, one of my favorite things to do in Toledo Bend is throw a June bug, straight tail finesse worm on a Carolina rig. But then I'll go 40 miles away to Sam Rayburn and I'll catch them on watermelon red. So you just have to try them and see which one is going to work best for you wherever you are. Guys, once again, if you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that sub button in the bottom right corner. And hey, share this with a friend. I know there's a friend of yours that likes to fish in the post spawn. Maybe they don't throw a Carolina rig that much. Maybe they don't have the confidence of which bait to throw. But I know these tips will definitely help you the next time you're on the water. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. And make sure y'all check out tomorrow for my daily fishing tip at noon.
Water splashed in my eye. That's okay. That's an accident. Kate! You're not getting away. After all that work, you're not getting away. Daddy!
There we go. Good job, guys.
Oh, yeah. That's what you get, Tootie Butt. He's a Tootie Butt.
Look at this big black tail.
Yeah, I didn't see that. Yeah, he's fish. He's fish. What? I think I maybe saw that. Because
you ready?
that pink stuff on right there.
Grab him right there. Grab him hard. He's a fighter.
Hope he doesn't get cold.
Okay. I got you. Here, now grab him.
I think Jace should do this. He's more careful with fish. Here, hold on to him. Right there. Hold it. Okay, hold it. Now let him go. See? You did it. Good job. I thought my hat was going to fall off.
Good job, man.
It was flipping a little bit.